Howdy folks, Rebecca Jolly here from Jolly Alchemy. Today's Human Design Transit Report will be for Sunday, the 17th of August, 2025. So much to talk about today. We're moving into a new cross grouping based around Gate 29. Gate 29 is the gate of commitment in the channel of discovery. And you see here, it's between the G center and the sacral center. So what we're talking about is a sacral channel here, because all the channels that touch the sacral center are sacral channels. And what we're looking at is 29 is commitment leading to serendipitous something happening, eventually love of the body. We have a very strong connection here to the 659, which is the channel of creation and sexuality. So this is a tantric channel, actually. And in the third quarter here, it's definitely having to do with interpersonal relationships. And Ross said that he makes fun of Gate 29 a lot because these people tend to be commitment junkies, saying yes and yes and yes and committing to things over and over again. And then it turns out to be a situation of a lot of broken promises because they committed to things that they shouldn't. And yet it's where we get all of our greatest commitments. It's one of those third line kind of energies where in making and breaking commitments, we learn about how to make successful commitments, and then we can make successful commitments and become a success. Speaking of which, it's very interesting how some of the crosses tend to turn out famous people much more than others. And this is one of them, because we have a huge number of examples of famous people that have had this specific cross. I'm not even talking about the cross of contagion in all four of its aspects. I'm talking about just this one. A huge number. So let me give you just some examples off of it. We have Belinda Carlisle, Tipper Gore, John Locke, the poet of long ago, H.P. Lovecraft, science fiction guy, Matthew Perry, Kenny Rogers, Patrick Swayze, Coco Chanel, Bill Clinton, Roman Polanski, Sean Penn, Mae West, one of my heroes, and Robert Redford. So many more, but those were the, bright, outstanding highlights for me. And so I see here a lot of sexy people, a lot of people who definitely had a lot of relationships, seems like. I know Mae West, she had lovers, but she didn't have a whole lot of committed relationships. She had a committed relationship with her bodyguard, but I think that was platonic. Anyway, there's so many ways to look at all these different charts and all these different people, but the unifying theme is the theme of commitment. Of course, we're dealing with 4 gates in a cross. So on the other side of that commitment gate 29, we have 30. And 30 is a very interesting gate. That is the gate of clinging fire. It is the gate of the fates. It's here coming down from the emotional center, and it's on the other side of this 41, the initiating codon that we've been feeling so much energy from, because it's our Pluto right now in retrograde, just pounding us over and over again with this 41-1, which is just the, basic longing for a new emotional experience. And then, of course, on the other end of the channel, you have the fates, will it happen? Will it come for me? Will I be able to have this new emotional experience? And this makes the channel altogether of the motivator, or being motivated. This longing drives us into the future, and it is driving us into the future now. So that is a connection that's being made for us today and through this cycle until we shift to through the juxtaposition and into the the whole thing, 2930. So we're going to be feeling this connection for almost a week. So what this is going to do for us globally in the next week is this is going to give the whole world a root activation and emotional activation. So people who are unemotional, which is half the planet, will be feeling emotional. So if you feel, emotional waves that you're not used to, a longing, it makes you feel motivated to try to have some sort of emotional experience, know that that's something that the whole world is feeling, and it's everybody's got the bug. So there it is. But I would definitely say, because this is all about commitment, this part of the cycle, be careful with your commitments, because we're going to have a tendency to want to make commitments just because the energy of commitment is in the world. So if you're trying to decide whether or not you should make a commitment, I would say sit on it. Get as much time as you can to think about things before making a commitment in this time when we're feeling the press to be committed to something, maybe anything. So yeah, the note to self, be careful. All right, so let's get into the actual details of it. So we have the first line, because this is the first day of the new cross, and as I said, it's the cross of contagion. It's this contagious desire to make a commitment, yeah? And on the other side of this cross, we have that leftover 8 and 14 from the last cycle. So the 8 is creative contributions, coming here out of the throat towards the G center, and 14, money bags, coming up out of the sacral center. So you do see in these people that I gave you the long list of, a lot of people who were able to make a lot of money, because their commitments are oftentimes having to do with their creative contributions. Look at all the creative contributions that were made by these people in their lives, and it usually led to some sort of financial comfort for them. Money bags. So it's an interesting thing, the way these energies that we've never been aware of suddenly come out to have had such a strong influence on us. And that's part of what human design is good for, to make us aware of, all these things that we might have thought were coincidences before are actually not coincidence. They're connected, and here's how and why. So that's what we're talking about. Anyway, 29.1, fulfillment of duties, the power to persevere as long as necessary. So that's the essential nature of commitment, to persevere as long as necessary. So there we have the insight that first line gives us. 30 line 1 is composure, inner balance even in the face of limitation. So that's telling us basically that in this gate of clinging fire, or the fates, these people who have this activation in their charts and in their bodies have some amount of ability to be cool, whether or not the fates bring what it is that they're longing for. So our moon starts off in 16.4, leadership through enthusiasm for higher goals. If it sounds familiar, again, that's because we're running up through those. Oh no, this is the moon. We're running through all the gates. So yeah, and we haven't had a whole lot of 16 actually. So yeah, this one actually isn't that familiar. I take it back. All right, but we will be having an interesting familiarity coming here. These transits are fascinating to me. They really are. So anyway, let me read that one again, because it's not a repeat of something we've had recently. Leadership through enthusiasm for higher goals. So this is not the same kind of leadership that's happening in the leadership channel. This is just enthusiasm, and that's what we get in this gate of skills. The reason people are becoming so skilled in that gate is because they're so enthusiastic about the things that they have. This is one of my children here. She has this, both of my children actually have this gate. And when they get enthusiastic about something, boy, are they enthusiastic about something. And they completely dive in to get those skills that they are naturally inclined to have. That's how it is. So 16.4 is leadership through enthusiasm for those higher goals. That fourth line is always going to be interpersonal. When the moon is done with 16, it will move to 35. That's the gate of experience. Up here, the jack of all trades. And then 45, that's the gate of the gatherer, the teacher, the king and queen, the one that says, I have, I own. This is the money channel. And 12, that's cautious communication coming out of the throat again. So basically we have all these gates coming out of the throat. So we're going to be cycling through these throat gates. Very interesting today. So a lot of people getting throat activations and being able to speak things that they might not always have the ability to speak about. Very interesting. Wow. Okay. So cool. Our Mercury is taking the reading at 31.5. Okay. It's out of retrograde, but still not moving as fast as it usually does. And it will be shifting today to 31.6, which is walking the talk, leadership whose actions match the words. And that one we have seen recently. But I'm not going to look it up because I have so much to say today. Our Venus energy is 53.6 at the beginning of the day, but because it's on that 6th line, it will shift into the next gate, and so it's a whole new energy that's going to be starting up there, and that's the gate 62, attention to detail. And that gate is on this side of the chart right here. You can see it because I have it in orange right there. 62.1, routine, the routine of detail work. All right, so if you have detail work that's needing to be done, today's a good day to get down and do it and get into that routine of the thing that's happening. Our Mars, our immature energy, is shifting throughout the day from 18.3, where it was yesterday, fanatic zeal, into suffering, as there is no potential for correction. So this is 18, the gate of focus on the broken, and it's that feeling of wanting to look to someone else and correct them, but not being able to. So if you're feeling today the feeling of, oh, I'd like to focus on your brokenness, you might want to pull the reins on that one a bit, because it's a global energy. I mean, it's a people energy, but it's an energy that everyone in the globe is feeling today. And so it might make us a little bit more cantankerous. Sometimes this gate of the 18 is known as the gate of bitchiness or nagging. So beware, maybe on the nagging today. I don't know. See how that one goes. All right, our global energies are fairly stable, except for Jupiter is going to be switching throughout the day from 39.6, where it's been for a few days now. Let's see real quick how long we've had that going on. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 in today. So that's going to shift to 53.1. And here's the interesting thing. Because Venus is just leaving gate 53. Now, gate 53 is the gate of beginnings, sometimes difficult beginnings. It's right here coming out of the root, heading towards the sacral center. And so it's in that cyclical learning cycle. Yeah, we have beginnings and endings on the other side of the channel. So this is the beginnings, and we're just ending the beginnings in Mercury just in time for it to switch into Jupiter and have a whole new cycle of beginnings going on. So this energy of beginnings that we've been feeling there is going to repeat and go again in Jupiter, where it will hold longer in the energies, because Jupiter is a much more long-ranging planet than Mercury, which swings much more quickly. So 53.1, incorporation, to begin something new on the foundation of the old. Well, we could use that in the planet. We could use that around, because isn't that what we're doing? Trying very much to build a new world out of this old foundation, and to find a way for all our new young people to have something out of a planet that's been ruled by old white men for far too long. We're trying our best to figure out how to let these new young people have their space and their time, especially because they're not the ones responsible for the brokenness. You know, it's really the fault of the old white men. And I know old white men are kind of getting it in the neck, but I can't help but think that it's about time they got it in the neck. Black people and brown people and yellow and orange and red people and female people have been getting in the neck for hundreds and thousands of years. So it's about time for the top to be getting a little uncomfortable. That's what I think. So the connection that is being made, as I already said, is this 4130, the channel of motivation, which is going to give us all a bit of emotionality. So be prepared for that. And this driving desire in the root to get something done. Let's have something new. Let's push forward through whatever difficulties there are into the new space. Our song for today is Broken Bones by Kaleo. It's a song very much about the Black experience, but specifically about feeling trapped and chained by a commitment that was previously made, i.e. killing someone. That's a pretty strong commitment. And it sounds like the dude is very much regretting that commitment and feeling the weight of a burden that wasn't necessarily his to begin with. I don't know. You listen to it. Be the judge. Broken Bones. So, I'm definitely forgetting to say something. Insatiability. That's the word I was looking for yesterday when we were talking about the 18 and the 58, this channel here. It was the channel of insatiability, a design of insatiability is what Ross says about it. All right, well, it'll wait. We've been talking long enough. It's so much to say, so much interesting things. But yeah, I'll see you tomorrow for next tomorrow's transit. And until then, you take care of yourself. I sure am trying myself. So, bye.